Hi, I'm Mike Hulvey, President and CEO of the RAB, and welcome to Radio on Main Street, the podcast all about radio. As we continue along in our series of interviews and discussions that were recorded in Las Vegas during the NAB Show, we want to thank our friends at Inco and Benstown for helping make it possible. The Radio on Main Street podcast booth is a center point, literally on Main Street at the NAB Show in Las Vegas. We appreciate the opportunity to partner with Inco and Benstown in making these discussions available to you. Well, this is our 11th episode, and I was thrilled to have the opportunity to sit down with my good friend Linnae Young. She's the Executive Vice President at Salem Media Group. Now, Linnae is very active with the RAB. She's an active member as an RAB board member. She's the board liaison to our Sales Advisory Committee. She's also an active participant in many of the engagements that the RAB has in the industry. During our conversation, we covered a lot of ground in our chat, including the importance of bringing the next generation into the broadcast business. We talked about company culture and the industry's effort around measurement and attribution, and the importance of delivering growth for our clients and providing them with metrics that matter for them as well as us. Hello, I'm Mike Hulvey, President and CEO of the RAB, and we thank our partners at Inco for providing an amazing setting. It's actually Linnae Young from Salem. Look.
Nice.
We're like on a sound stage.
I love it. We totally are.
Radio
Thanks to our
with
friends at Inco. This
You're
is
exactly right.
phenomenal.
Very good with the product placement and and the sponsor tag.
Yes.
Linnae Young joins us. She is a board member of the RAB. She is a very active participant in our committee structures. Here this week at NAB, we've kept you very busy.
You have kept me so busy, and a real highlight for me has been meeting the students, the future of our industry. That has just been phenomenal. So thank you for that.
On an upcoming podcast, Erica Farber sat down with 3 members of our Student Scholar program, and you just referenced it. We want to thank the broadcast companies, and of which Salem Media is a part of that provide the funding so that 100 college students can attend the NAB. And again, that was an Erica Farber idea from 2014.
Wow.
That lives on and continues to provide dividends for the industry. But there are students who are here. They engage with broadcasters.
They're hungry. They're excited.
What I'm excited about is it wasn't so long ago, time-wise, when this podcast was recorded, that we were in front of over 100 students. We challenged the students to engage with our panelists, of which you were one. And I'm happy to report that over 7.
It's building by the moment. We gave them the challenge, take advantage of these opportunities, connect with folks, and they are connecting fast and furious on LinkedIn. It's exciting. Yeah, and they're so creative. You know, their creativity, their vision for the future. As a broadcaster, if you need a fresh jolt of excitement, spend some time with the folks coming up behind us. They're a great bunch.
Well, a theme from that, and then we'll get to the business of the business, is just that. Where is the next Linnae coming from? Where is the next Erica? Where's the next Mike? Where's the next Eric? Helen. Where's the next Rob Babin? Where's, fill in the blank. Where are the next leaders of our industry coming? They're coming from that. I mean, that's seeding the future.
That is seeding
20
the future.
years from now, they're leading the industry.
They are leading, and it's our responsibility, all of us, to pass that baton well. Part of that is identifying who are they, where are they, and then how do we mentor and help them grow so that we can pass that baton effectively.
Linnae Young, besides all of the nice things I said about her, she's also a landlord. So the RAB this past year, we found ourselves in a spot where we needed to relocate our Dallas-based offices, and you had a conversation with the staff, the RAB staff, a while ago, and just said if there's ever a time when the RAB could use a hand, we would be more than happy to help. And so lo and behold, we had an opportunity where we needed to relocate office space.
Yes.
And we made a quick phone call, and within about 5 minutes,
it was all good to go.
We love to have fun people in our building, so that was a really easy decision, and we love to have those in our industry. The more we link arms as an industry, the better we are. So that was a simple decision.
Let's talk about change. Let's talk about the industry. You've had change in your company, in this year, and continue to evolve through that. The industry, has had change, but the one word that I'm very proud to watch and have RAB play a role in is collaboration. And I do not remember a time when the industry was united and so collaborative.
Boy, I couldn't agree more. And I think we used to see each other as competitors. And today I really think as an industry, we've linked arms and we understand we're stronger together. We can do more together. And our lanes have opened so much. We're not just broadcasters. We're truly multimedia today. And so I think I love the work you guys are doing with the One Voice and the collaboration on measurement. How do we measure our industry? How do we go to market with that? I think we're just stronger together. And I'm excited after all these years to see that we've really kind of figured that out.
Rich Tunkel has said, as it relates to the 3-minute qualifier and the process of having that roll out and then become currency and become the standard, that we're in the second inning. We're in the second inning of that. And as it relates to the collaborative ideas, and again, One Voice, I'm so proud of the RAB team because they have done some amazing work. But I'm also proud of the industry because we wouldn't be able to do that work if the industry wasn't being so collaborative. So let's use Rich's, we're in the second inning. What do you see moving forward for us? Because I think you just hit on what will be the next biggest thing, which is an extension of the current, and that is measurement and attribution.
Oh, man.
It's not going away. It will never go away.
It will never go away, and it'll change every day because especially in the digital landscape, things are changing so quickly. But at the end of the day, we have to show metrics that matter to our client base. Whether you're talking to a Procter & Gamble or a local HVAC company, we have got to be able to show metrics that show them that we are building their business. And that hasn't changed in the 40 years I've been in the business, by the way.
Yeah.
When we were just radio, when we're far from just radio now, when we were just radio, we had to prove that we helped move the needle. We had to take appropriate attribution and credit for moving a needle. That's exactly where we are today. It's just that all the tools we have to grow somebody's business have vastly changed, but we have to continue to dial in with the right metrics that matter to our clients, not to us, but to our clients, and demonstrate that we're growing their business.
One thing that I know radio has always had a very strong anchor in is results. And when we build our media plans for our clients, when we establish the expectations for campaigns, it is that end result in mind that is so powerful. We can never get away from it.
We've been in the results game as long as I've been here. We still are. It's actually even more difficult now because marketing works so hand in hand together. It's harder and harder to say what moved the needle for the client. And so that's where we have to connect those dots appropriately for our clients. But I think, too, we are in the second inning. I agree with that. I think one of the things that excites me the most about our business today is that we're not just broadcast. We're audio, we're digital, we're social, we're everything that's available. That is us. And so I think the second inning, in my mind, also is telling our story better. Telling the story of, I love the campaign you guys are doing, just a visual on what is radio today. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of views on that. We have to tell our story better. We're everywhere. Our content is everywhere, and we have to do a great job of telling that story. We have to get out of our own way, in my opinion. We have to get out of past ideas on this is how we describe ourselves and really tell the story of everywhere our content lives today.
All right, you mentioned story, and I think radio is an amazing storytelling platform. It's one of our greatest strengths.
It is.
Besides our amazing reach, our audiences have not gone away. Our competitors have seen. I mean, you see ebbs and flows. You've seen some erosion, but compared to our competitors in the traditional media space, radio remains robust. So
Robust. And and you saw the data this week, the Burrell data. Our radio sellers, from a revenue producing standpoint, are the most trusted in the business, in our industry. I love that, and I'm not surprised by that, because our best people are true marketers of a business. They're not just in one lane. They know how to market a business, and I love seeing our industry get that due credit, if you will.
Okay, part of the theme of our podcast series, Radio on Main Street, here at NAB 2025 for the RAB, is to get to know our panelists and our guests on the podcast a little better. So we talk about story.
Yeah.
What is the Linnae Young story?
Wow. So I fell into the business. I was going to be a teacher. That was my original plan. Did not have broadcasting on my mind anywhere. Ended up, we've talked a lot about networking. We talked to the students about that today, networking. So I had somebody I happen to know that said, hey, Linnae, when I was very young, just out of high school, and she said, we have this opening over at NBC Television in Chicago, a clerical type position. Why don't you come do that while you're going to school to be a teacher? And I thought, NBC TV in Chicago, that's fun when you're 18.
Absolutely.
So fell right into the industry, thought I would continue on to be a teacher, kept going to school, and then this business gets in your blood. But literally I worked in television, and I noticed the people across the hall, it was NBC radio then, I noticed they were having a lot more fun. They were more creative. They were having parties. They were laughing a lot. I was very young. That looked like a really good time. So I set out to get into radio, and I did. And then worked for NBC Radio Network in Chicago for a number of years. Made it over to the advertising agency side. Super served our clients when I was at NBC Radio. Ended up working for Ogilvy and Mather in Chicago, and now I've been with Salem for 30 years. And what I would say to anyone considering our industry is don't lock yourself into a path. I started up at Salem through sales. I did not think for a moment that sales would be my lane. I loved it. I was good at it, and it opened a lot of doors that led to a lot of other exciting paths. So that's the story.
One of the things that you shared at the session with the students earlier today, and again, this is early April as we are recording here at NAB. You said, don't be afraid to stay somewhere a very long time. Like,
Yes.
It's okay to make a commitment if that company has made a commitment to you. Drill down on that.
Yeah, I think today, and this is what I was telling the students, I think today one of the advantages that they have, when I came up in the industry, we kind of assumed people would stay somewhere for a little while. That's not the case today. And so people tend to jump for a slightly better title, a little more money, a slight increased level of flexibility. But truly where you're going to find more doors open to you is if you just stick the landing, find a company that you love. And I think for the next round of media folks, I think if they show that commitment, they will find mentors in the company. They'll have more opportunities. And I think it'll be an absolute advantage to them because I think most of their peers aren't thinking that way.
You work for a company that is known for its culture.
Yes.
How important is that as an employer and as an employee of that same company?
It's a great question. I think the culture of the company matters a lot, and I find a culture fit for you. Having said that, I'm with Salem Media. We have a lot of people at our company who like some of our content. Some came because they love our faith content. Some came because they like our news content. Some came just because they like our digital offerings. So when I say culture fit, I think what I mean by that is, do you like the way the team operates? Do you like the way senior leadership interacts? with the field. Look for that kind of culture. Make sure it's a company you feel like you can put your name behind. But whatever that content is, we have a lot of people at the company for a lot of different reasons. Find a culture that respects its employees, treats them well, and that's where I would stick the landing.
All right, last question.
Yep.
Answer the question. I am so excited about.
I am so excited that we are multimedia, because that gives us an opportunity to super serve our clients, to grow businesses. And so I think that the opportunities to really make a difference in that lane. I love podcasting. I love all of our digital offerings. I love our content. All of that comes together in growing businesses, and that excites me. And beyond that, I'm incredibly excited about the talent coming up behind us. I think they're going to take this industry places we can't even yet dream of, and that fires me up every day. So I'm fired up to help hand the baton to some of these great folks coming behind us.
Yeah, the comforting thing is there are things in their minds that we have no idea, and that will be the future. The scary thing is there are things in their mind that we have no idea. Add it all together, that's the future of the industry.
That's the future, and I can't wait to watch it.
Linnae, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate all you're doing for our industry.
Thank you for your active participation. It is appreciated.
Thank you.
A few takeaways from our discussion include the importance of culture at an organization that is very much the core of Salem Media Group's DNA, and finding a company that's the right culture fit for you. Another important takeaway, as Linnae so aptly put it, is that we have to continue to tell our story better, and what radio is and looks like today, and why we truly are better together.
If you'd like to learn more about radio and its many benefits, we invite you to visit us at rab.com, or you can email us directly at askrab@rab.com. Until next time, it's Radio on Main Street.